used pipe cleaners to explain the branches off the internal carotid. So this whole thing is just the internal carotid. First we have the red, which is the internal carotid. Then off of that is the ophthalmic. And the first branch of the ophthalmic is the central retinal. And it's white. You're actually not supposed to see it. It's supposed to go right into the optic nerve. So that was the first. And then we have the short ciliary and the long ciliary there, the orange. And they supply like the optic nerve and the ciliary body and the iris. We also have the musculars, the lateral and the medial, and those are like the neon orange, so they're a little brighter if you can. And then those run along the muscles, which are there. Then we have the anterior ethmoid and the posterior ethmoid, and they are green. So the posterior goes to the posterior and the anterior goes anteriorly. I have it down here. Oh. And then the medial palpebral is white, and it supplies the eyelids, and it crosses with the lacrimal, which we kind of had a hard time doing that, and that makes the palpebral arcade. The lacrimal is the blue, and it passes through the lacrimal gland, which is the big blue ball of clay, which is different from the lacrimal sac. The lacrimal sac is on the other side. The dark blue pipe cleaner is the supraorbital, and it supplies different muscles, the orbicularis, stuff like that. The supratrochlear is yellow, and with it supplies the forehead. The dorsal nasal is purple, and it runs to the lacrimal sac.
It's underneath.
And I think I've got it all. Oh, the lateral palpebral is the lime green that comes off of the lacrimal to make the palpebral arcade with the medial palpebral, which is white. We just didn't cross it over.
And on this one we did the external carotid with the waxy things. And so we start off with the external carotid, and going down like towards the mandible, which isn't on the model, is the facial artery, and it's going to come up and turn into the angular artery. And then the next branch up is our maxillary. And the maxillary is going to turn into the infraorbital. It's going to enter the orbit, travel down the floor of the orbit, and then come back out. And the very top branch is the superficial temporal arteries and its branches.
And our extra question was to talk about the circle of Zinn. The circle of Zinn is made by the short posterior ciliary arteries. And the reason why it's so important is because it's a continuous ring of blood supply, and that helps to, instead of just going to where it supplies, if one area is blocked, the whole thing can still be supplied, so that's why it's important, and it supplies the optic nerve head.